Hey there, I'm Duster, and as some of you may know, this is my first What If on the channel and video on YouTube whatsoever. It's just Dragon Ball content. The majority of this artwork here in this video is just a few visual edits I made off of existing renders, and any other credit will be listed below in the description. I apologize for any failures at enunciation I made, because I do sometimes stutter when I speak. Ergo, it may not be the best What If you've ever watched, so I really do suggest speeding it up to 1.25 speed on YouTube at the very least, so you can just skip over my really shitty speaking habits. So, please. Long ago, prior to the formal creation of the universes, lived an ancient being, which we know as the Grand Priest. Father of the angels, attendant of Zeno, one of the strongest beings in existence. Yet on some days, he had quite mundane duties, which included the organization of universes. For you see, none of the universes at this point in time had been created. Currently, they had outlines, drafts of what they possibly would be. Now it was only a matter of time until they implemented these ideas. Slowly and ever so carefully, the Grand Priest organized the various species and planetoids that would populate each universe. However, disaster struck when Lord Zeno surprised the priest with a childish prank, shouting "boo" at the top of his lungs to frighten his attendant. In a flustered panic, the god dropped a collection of ideas, scattering them upon the floor. Zeno looked over curiously and laughed about interrupting the GP's work. The priest picked himself up off the floor soon afterward, gathering the ideas once more, and hastily placed them back in the grand universal design, each ready to go. Unfortunately, the Grand Priest made one slight slip-up. 2 races had been placed in the wrong universes. The Saiyan race in the 11th, and the Beggar race in the 7th. However, the Grand Priest had only caught this mistake after bringing each universe to reality, though he simply waved it aside. After all, what was the worst that could happen? Age 737, Universe 7. The rocky, cragged ground of planet Rakoha burned brightly with brilliant orange flames, sending plumes of smoke into the vast violet sky. Slowly but surely, waves of soldiers in gleaming armor washed over each and every village upon the planet. The inhabitants had beaten back their prior invasion force, but no more. Men, women, even children. It didn't matter to the soldiers. Each civilian dropped to the ground with the blast wound carving out their chest, leaving the corpses to burn in the hellfire. However, the soldiers had missed a few civilians. A pair of adults, alongside their child, adorned in a brilliant orange blanket, fled the burning cities, shielding their child from the worst that the new environment could throw at them. Passing soldiers took pot shots at the trio. However, the adults retaliated with surprisingly large blasts of crimson ki, driving even the strongest fighters into the ground. The child himself, though, felt weak, helpless. His parents were giving everything they had to fight back the approaching monsters. Hope came in the form of an abandoned Frieza Force vessel, a space capsule, long since abandoned by the soldier whom departed from it. The parents placed their child within the vessel hastily, desperately slamming the control panel and closing the door. No heartfelt goodbyes. No gentle hand touching upon the window of the pod. For as the child's spacecraft ascended, the figures of his parents were slowly surrounded by soldiers. The child cried out, but the automatic hibernation function in the vessel soon took effect. "I swear, I'll kill you, Frieza." The boy's eyes closed as the carnage of his home planet was left behind. Of course, that boy was Jiren. Age 737, Universe 11. The nursery ward of planet Sadala was usually a fairly quiet place. Nursery pods gently held sleeping babies, allowing parents to be tended to and administered medicine, mostly for the male Saiyans who usually had their fingers crushed while holding their wives' hands during the childbirth procedure. However, today the ward buzzed about as doctors gently tended to 3 newborn children. The first, the prince. Of course, the child was tended to by only the most careful and intelligent doctors, though that staff was curiously split in half on that day. The prince himself idly floated in the pod, quivering as the child was administered medication. While he was already 5, much too old for a nursing pod, and not newborn, he required utmost care, and ergo was supplied with a pod of his own to heal his various injuries in battle. His parents, the king and queen, were fairly overprotective, though no one knew why. Prince Vegeta was an odd. The second child was a boy born to a young Saiyan man by the name of Paragus. He was a general in the Saiyan division of the Pride Troopers, his body adorned with many wounds, all taken in the name of peace and justice, which he refused to believe in. The father himself was not present, which was unusual for Saiyans, especially the father of a boy with a power level of 900. Luckily, a division of the main Pride Trooper Corps had come to oversee the child, a large purple cat creature with buck teeth whom called himself Dispo. Apparently, his associates needed to speak with Paragus, and of course who would say no to a Pride Trooper, one of the elite groups at that. And of course, the third child. Nothing special, truly, a power level of 2 completely unremarkable. However, much like Prince Vegeta, his father was special. Kakaroto, the child within the pod, was the second heir to Bardock, a member of the Pride Trooper Elite Corps like Dispo. And of course, the proud Saiyan warrior had come to visit his son, his wife Gine in tow. As the two came upon their second-born child and gently laid their hands upon the pod, their firstborn Raditz set his hand upon theirs. All three Saiyans grinned, laying their eyes on the small boy in the pod. And silently in the background, King Vegeta began to develop a plan. Thank you for watching throughout the entirety of the video. I do appreciate your resilience, as this is indeed my first project and, ergo, likely not my best work going forward. So please do have patience, because this is not my job, therefore I do have things in real life I must attend to rather than simply YouTube full-time. I have school and AP classes to attend to. So thank you very much for watching my Dragon Ball video, and I will give you updates in the community tab if I ever do figure out